As you may know, many people speak all the days about the big problems, overload information. Is it really a problem? I don't think so. Something that exists more than 15 years, it's not a problem. It's a big challenge. And I think that this challenge will lead us to amazing opportunity that will change the way we are doing business, will change the way that we are basically interact with people. So the solution for that will be important to the new web as the search was to the web of pages. So let's take a look about a couple of trends that are happening together today and basically lead to this challenge as well as the solution and opportunity. So first of all, as we know, there is a new phase of the web that we connect the dot between us to everything that's important to us. It started with the social network, so you connect the dot between you and your friends, and then you're starting to click on the like button and you connect the dot between you and your favorite object. A very cool solution like Foursquare and other allow me to connect the dot between me and my physical presence. And then everything is turned into streams, very much as what happened with the social. We become to be streams. You become to be my basically human filter to information. And obviously it's way too much. The only problem, and again, it's not a problem, it's growing so fast that no human being will be able to deal with such information. Another thing that it's coming together, it's the fact that we are sharing so much, and we are willing to share so much from our insight, our thought, our dreams. And then obviously there is the mobile, which is and will be the ultimate sensor. So as I said, it started with a lot of noise, but very fast it's also will push us relevant information. So if today some of you get 1,000 or 2,000 pieces of content, and about 2 years from now, maybe it will be 10 times more, if not more than that, one big portion of that is relevant information. And this relevant information will continue to grow to a number that still you cannot consume. And within this relevant information, there will be a must not miss information. I don't want to miss this specific piece of information. For example, about great opportunity to my business, but at the same time, if my soulmate is here, I want to know it. So you will have more and more critical information that will try to compete on your attention. But there is a gap. There is a gap between the existence of this relevant information, the fact that I could connect to a stream that could offer me the information, and my willingness to get and consume this specific piece of information just right now, in relation to the other stuff that compete on my attention. And this gap is going to close soon. And when it will close, it will allow you to hold in your hands something that I don't know how it will look. I don't know if it will look like iPhone or something else. But for sure, it will be able to magnify your sixth sense and bring you the right information at the right time and in the right context. Which means that there are so many insights that you're missing today, and you will not miss this insight that will be so much important to you. So if I will have time, I will give you a demo about the solution or the application that we have today in Android and iPhone. But I could say that this is the tip of the iceberg. The story, it's much more interesting than the application itself that allow you today basically to aggregate all the streams and, unlike other applications, basically bring you to the top, the most important stuff. So let's speak a little bit about digital intuition and how basically it could create this type of magic. What we are trying to do is basically try to mimic your human ranking function. Unlike Google that rank the page, the links, the web of pages for you, and allow you, when you have something in your mind and you explicitly come to make a search, bring you the best results, now it's something different. It's basically everything has come to me. The world is transformed to kind of an implicit situation. And the most important stuff will come to me. I will not search for them. So if I want to mimic the human ranking function, the only challenge is that it's tough. Because there are so many associations that evolve with anything that you are doing today. that you could even not imagine, because in a millisecond, when you're making a decision, there are so many associations that come into your brain and basically direct you to click on something or do something, some action. So part of that, if we will take, for example, content and that come to your life from any type of streams, part of the reason that you might want to read something, it's related to the content, what there is within the content. Sometimes it could be a combination of words that exist in the title that got your attention. Sometimes it's a combination of words, and many combinations of words that exist in the last paragraph of this specific article, that because of that you don't want to miss this specific article, and you don't care that it's an article from yesterday. But it's not only that. There is the context, of course. And there is different meaning of context. Let's take just one, time. There is when the information published, if it's a conversation, and if it's coming from a day before, even if it's one of my best friends, I'm not interested. But if it's something that you want to read related to your business or maybe your family, you are. So you are less sensitive to time. And how about location? So it's not just where you are. Because you are here, but most of the time when you are dealing with your devices, you're looking for information that it's not related to your physical location. It's most of the time right now it's related to your virtual world, but in the future it will be maybe not related to here, it will be related to the place that you're going to be after you will finish this great day today. So again, context, and obviously community. There are so many signals that we could bring you today from the community that it's great. To find a specific credible source related to that specific subject. But again, community is just a set of features, but you're unique, you're special, you're not like your friends, and with all the respect to the amazing signals that we could get today from community, this is not the only way to basically figure out your human ranking function. And of course, like any human being, we want to be surprised. And we will not find any signal from our past behavior for this surprise, but when we will click on something, or when we will see something, you'll say, wow, this makes my day. So part of figure out your human ranking function, you need to deal with serendipity, of course. But this is just the beginning, because it's basically, even if you take all these parameters together and could understand that you like something, how its relation to what she likes or the other thing that compete on your attention. So the fact that there is a content that I don't want to miss, great, but there is another one behind the corner, how it's related to each other. So everything in our life is relative, and from the get-go, if you want to mimic the human ranking function, you could need to take the feedback from you based on basically everything that it's relative insight. So let's take example. Let's take a simple behavior that I'm sure that all of you are doing a lot these days. You're surfing on any type of streams. It could start with the simple one, email, or Twitter, or Facebook. And you know why? You decided to skip the first two piece of content that compete on your attention. And then you click on the third one. What does it mean? Does it mean that you like the third one? Maybe. Does it mean that you don't like the first two? Maybe. I think that most likely it just said that you may prefer the title from the third one that sent from the source, which is credible to that title, at that specific location and that specific environment and that specific situation, and with relation to some other association that you have more than you like the first two. And I said, maybe. And this is all about how we consume information today. So it's not just to try to categorize your preference to bad and good, is really to understand, and it's infinite amount, as I said, association. It's like millions different of things that could impact your decision to get something. And so if it's so complicated, so how about asking you to give feedback to any system? I guess that all of you, not just that you are not willing to give millions of feedback, obviously you are not capable to describe your relative preference, and I do not capable to describe all the small nuances because it's changing, it's dynamics of my preference. So from the get-go, what we did is basically we understand that the only way to collect millions of feedback from you is looking on your actual behavior. And surprisingly enough, studies say that usually when you ask somebody about his preference, the correlation is not great, but when you look on his actual behavior, it's more close to his real preference. So just by looking on your natural consumption behavior within the streams, we are succeeding to collect very carefully huge amount of feedback, relative feedback, and project that to the learning machine and eventually build your dynamic ranking function. And as I said, very much as overload information is a word that many people speak about that today. Also personalization is, I could say, almost abused word. And basically, yes, it's true that popularity could give us some personalization, and there are different type of content that it's even doing a great job. But in general, for the direction that I just described, it will not be able to address the big challenge and create amazing opportunity for us to get that type of information. Because all of us, including you, we are all special. We are not... So just to give the highlight, so I think that one of the key things behind the project we took is that we didn't really try to understand your preference. Even my wife could not understand my preference, and she could do obviously better job than I could understand her preference. But obviously what we try to do is just to mimic them. And another thing that I think that we did, which is important, is understanding not to try to classify the world to more interesting stuff and less interesting stuff, because as I said, when you change one parameter and suddenly there is another thing that associated with the information, it could change dramatically your preference to read this specific content. So I think that with that, we are moving to a world that it's very different from what we are facing today. And if we're looking back a few years ago, so I think that we are now almost approaching the third level of the web. It started obviously with access to data, to information. This was the first one. Then social connect us to everything that it's important to us. And obviously we are still in this big wave. But I think that we are moving to a situation that it will be all about me. It will be all about you. So it's a very different world. And agency and media companies and everybody should recognize that, because it will be different to attract my attention to anything. So, as I said, I told you that the application itself, even though it creates some nice buzz, it's the tip of the iceberg. The idea behind the company, and I think that it's more interesting for everybody here as well, is that we want to give this type of service to any other, basically, company, publishers, mobile application, who believe like me that we are moving to this web of streams, and we need to offer, we need to touch our user with much more personal content. Basically, this will be available soon to anybody, and just try to imagine that no matter where you are going, no matter what type of experience you have in this new digital world, it will offer you just about the thing that you want to see first. So all the experience within about 2 or 3 or 4 years from now, it will be completely dedicated to bring me or just you, the information in the style that I want to get it, and so on. So now think what you could do with it. I mean, there are endless amount of new type of services and new type of thing that you could do when you're taking the basic broadcasting approach and transform that to something that it's basically personal broadcasting. And as I said, which allow us to touch each of us basically with personal content. So how about monetization? Not by mistake I mentioned Google, but because in the world of pages, we explicitly request what we want. So we let Google to go into my head and use that to bring me the best or create the best ad networks because they know what I want. In this new world, which will be, most of it will be implicit, so I'm not asking anything. And still, I will consume most of the information from a stream that I did not ask for the information. I just connect the dot between me and the source of the information. So what can you do? The idea is that in this world, you will have much more keywords about my interest, about my intention that you may have when you are using today ad networks. And again, I will not go deep into that, but obviously, I think that in parallel to this big change which is related to us, I'm sure that eventually it will be a very big, important area. It will also change the way that we target basically customers. So with that, I will give you maybe a 1 minute presentation of the application, but I just want to say that I strongly believe that it's just the very early days of what I call the digital human. And one thing that we need to remember when we are going to this direction, with all the respect to the great technology, it's just the tools. We are human. And the basic needs that we have will not change. And basically, these new tools allow us maybe to get more from the basic needs that we want anywhere, but I don't see it, as I said, make us less interactive with people, as the opposite. It will allow us to eventually be more interactive, to get more of what the real thing that we want to feel in the physical world. And this also, by the way, will be a great bridge to bring a great value to many augmented reality stuff that we will see. Because in the physical world, I don't want basically to surf in a digital format. I want to feel, I want to smell, I want to see, I want to talk. And the ability to bring me just at the right second the information that I want to get, it's a key. So maybe I will very quickly just show you how it works. Oh, sorry. Oops. Sorry about that. So what you will see is that you don't need to do anything, basically. It's look like any other streams solution that offer you content, but unlike any other streams, aggregators, all the content here on real time are sorted according to what is relevant to me, and very easily, obviously, I could share the information, do whatever I want, and you could see that you do not have anything in the application that allow you as a user to give feedback to the system. It's completely based on your behavior. And last, this is what we call the digital intuition meter. This is give you basically an indication how good the system knows you and not how. So this is basically, obviously, an kind of experience that it's improving over time, and obviously also the first impression is very good because we are doing some out-of-the-box analysis to improve the out-of-the-box experience. So with that, I would like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to that. Thanks.